Guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to break down an assignment of contract that's actively available right now in Surrey Central that somebody purchased a few years ago. And despite being in one of the most reputable developments, built by one of the most reputable developer with one of the best amenities in the neighborhood, and being in one of the most prime locations, this seller is selling this assignment of contract at a loss. And they've made numerous mistakes buying this contract or buying this pre-sale. And I'm going to break down all the mistakes they made when they bought this pre-sale unit, so you can learn from this and not make those mistakes when you go out and buy a pre-sale unit as an investment. So without further ado, let me jump on the screen and I'll show you what this assignment of contract is all about. And bonus, at the end of this video, I'll tell you if this is worth buying or not as an investor, where somebody's losing money and you're buying it now and closing on it and seeing if there's going to be an upside to this condo or not. So let's jump on the screen. So this is an assignment of contract at a project called Park George. It's built by Concord, one of the best developments that you can find. And Concord, Pacific, they don't build average stuff, they build quality stuff. Project, I think, was originally launched a few years ago. Right now it's completing spring 2025. So completion is coming up in about 3 months or so. So this person is selling it at a huge loss, or they're saying it's at a loss, and they're asking $468,000 for this. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo, 553 square feet, which is the interior square footage. That's the only thing that matters. Balcony and stuff don't matter. So don't worry about the balconies. The average price per square foot right now at this price point is 846 square foot, which is very attractive, to be very honest, for a Concord built high-rise product. And then the floors are higher floors. East facing unit. It's an assignment of contract. Completion is 2025. Neighborhood, it says Guildford. It's not Guildford. It's actually Surrey Central, just so you know. So this person has it wrong. And building's called Park George. They've got amenities, concierge, fitness center, pool, sauna, all these shenanigans, everything that you need to look at when you're buying into a Concord product. So they have everything check marked as to why this is such a good development and good unit. So why are they selling it at a loss? And there are 3 or 4 crucial mistakes they made, and I'm going to break them down for you. So number one, when you're making an investment, and before I jump into this, I want to show you what these guys have put down. I'm not sure if you can see it at the bottom. This person has paid 35% deposit, which is insane. Probably bought it when there was peak of the market and the developer could ask for 35% deposit. Just so you guys understand, when there's high demand, developers can ask for more deposit down just because they don't have to borrow that money from the bank. So that's where, this person paid 35% deposit. Or second option could be, is this is a foreign buyer that they were obligated to pay 35% deposit on this one. So those are some things that could be factors in this. But now jumping into the mistakes that this person has made. Now, as an investment, I always tell my clients, okay, number one, we're not buying into hyped up projects. That's the first thing you don't want to do, is you don't want to pay a premium for just being in a project because it's hyped up. See, right now, this is a quality product. No one's buying this thing. Every project will come to completion, and on completion, there's always going to be people that cannot close on properties, and you can buy at their starting prices. We just did this in a project in Port Moody. My clients wanted to buy into it, and I said, no, $11.50 a square foot. It doesn't make sense. Just wait on completion. I'll find you assignments in this project. You'll be able to close on these things. So regardless, that's kind of the mindset you got to go in with. Interior square footage is good. 553, I think at the time units were a little bit bigger. But if you were to choose between 500 square feet or 520 square feet and 553 square feet, the rent is the same. The resale value is pretty much almost going to be the same. So if you can get anywhere between 500 to 525 square feet, you're pretty much fine. 550 is still decent. So floors high. So I don't know the exact floor of this one. If it's anything above 20th floor, I wouldn't buy it as an investment. You want to stick with lower floors between 7 to about 15 floors or 5 to 15 floors. That's kind of the sweet spot because you get the views, you get like a decent height. But anything after 5 floors, you're good to go. To be honest with you, if it's an investment, you're not going to live in it. The premium you're going to pay per floor is significant, probably like $10,000, $7,500 per floor. And as you go up into like the 20 plus floors, you're going to pay $10,000 per floor. That's never going to come back in your pocket. Like, it's never going to come back in your pocket. So I don't pay a lot of premiums for floors. So that's something that I would see it as a huge red flag and mistake that they made. Number two is they bought into a very shiny object. Okay, I'm being honest with you. When you're buying an investment, you want to buy good product, but you don't want to pay huge premiums for this. And they're asking $468 for this one, which tells me that they're taking a significant loss on this. And just so you guys have context of this, know the Surrey Central market so well that I can tell you that these units back in the day when this project was sold, were sold in the low 400s. They started in the low 400s. I know there are two projects. My office is in Surrey Central. I'm looking out the window. There were two projects that were sold for $429,000, concrete build, mid floors, and they're both completing right now too. But Park George was at the same time. But Park George was built by Concord, better amenities, all that stuff. So the premium was attached to that. So this person probably paid like $530, $540. I don't know the exact purchase price, but I can assume it's between $525 to $550 is their purchase price. So number one, high floors is what they paid. They bought into a very shiny object. If I was choosing between two projects, one is a cookie cutter high rise, and the other one is a Concord like this, I would more likely go for the cookie cutter that's still built by a good developer. Like Anthem has some stuff that's straight cookie cutter. It's not huge amenities, huge master plans. But Townline built two towers right next to the Holland Park. They were sold at like $429, $439 for 500 square foot units, and they were sold after this project. I would rather buy into that project because that's why they're having to sell at a loss, because their purchase price was too high. They paid for a premium. They paid for a product that had a shiny object syndrome. And as an investor, like unless you're gonna live in this property, it doesn't make sense. And guys, like if you're going to pay a high premium and you're buying a 1-bedroom condo, like it's an entry-level product and you're buying in Surrey, like it doesn't matter where you're buying, but at the same time, like you have to look at the demographic that is going to buy this property on completion. So they bought a premium product. They tried to buy Louis Vuitton and tried to sell it to somebody who can't even afford Coach. So that's the idea behind this, is you never go out there and buy a Mercedes, BMW and try to sell it to the end user who is an entry-level buyer, which is going to be looking for a Toyota and a Honda. That's the idea that you have to understand, is who are you buying this for? If you like driving Mercedes and you want to live in this property, or you want to drive this Mercedes, buy it, because you're buying it for your own enjoyment. Totally makes sense. As an investment, you don't want to make buy in the hopes that someone's going to come and buy this property off of you in the prices that you're looking for, which is not going to happen. So that's why they're losing money on this property. I just think they paid too much. They bought into a premium product. They bought into a shiny object syndrome, which was probably hyped up based on demand as well. But I think they paid way too much money for something that they should have gotten for a lot cheaper. Now, in regards to what I told you, is this a good deal for a person that's looking into this property? I think you can get considering where the market is, I think it's an average deal. It's not a great deal. Like, I'm just being transparent with you. I've picked up properties around 430, 440 in concrete builds. So that's what I would say. 468 plus GST, you're still in it for $500,000. You're just shy of 950, 960 a square foot, or 940 a square foot. On a 5-year horizon, I think you'll make money on this for sure. But here's what you have to keep in mind. Now you have to close on this property with 20% down if you're going to take it as an investment. And the crazy thing is, because they paid 35% deposit, I don't know exactly what Concord is looking for when they're looking to pass on this assignment or approve this assignment. A lot of times what I'm seeing is there's two developments that are closing here right now with where people have paid 20% deposit. The developer wants the buyer to come in and pay the 20% deposit plus any profits or lifts on that property, and then they'll approve the assignment, because they don't want to have any sorts of chasing different parties to collect the money. So what they want to do is just say, hey, this guy paid 35% deposit on, let's say, $500,000 property. That's a lot of money. So the next buyer has to come up with that money to be able to pick up this unit, because the developer is not going to approve the assignment without that deposit being cleared or transferred to the original buyer. So these are some small things that you need to keep in mind. But if you have the capital, you have the down payment, I think if you can get this deal at like 450 plus GST, around 475 all in, I think this is a really good deal. But at 468, I mean, you're still $18,000 more, but I think 450 is where I would be probably picking up this deal. But I'm looking at some deals like these. But if you're in the market for a good deal, I think there are some opportunities, but just select a few. But I wanted to break this down for you. So if you're in the market for a pre-sale, there are some things that you want to keep in mind when you buy it. So hopefully this helped you. If you have any more questions, the link is in the description. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help and answer any questions. See you in the next one.